I did a tour in PJ, when I think this was around 2008 lah, when I first started getting involved in work like this. And there was a friend also who was interested. So we made an effort to go to the Indian temple. The only thing I haven't gone to is the Gurdwara, you know. We went into an
Okay.
Indian temple, a Hindu temple. We went to a masjid. I didn't manage to go in, lah, but I have seen other masjids, so I'm okay. Then the Siamese temple in PJ, I've been there. And that Siamese temple is very odd because it has a Buddha, and then it also has Kuan Yin,
Yes.
that it has both lah. It has the Buddhist tradition, and then it has the
You have that. They have that in Thailand also. If you go to Thailand, you will see the Thai Chinese have their own Chinese temple, and then sometimes you will see the mixture of them. Thai Buddhism is very very difficult for me to really put my fingers wrap my head around.
I think it's all mixed lah. I think it's
it's very big. All Hindu influence and the Chinese influence in them.
Okay, guys. Okay, probably we can slowly talk about, because we have discussed about all this stereotyping. Probably we need to dissect a bit, knowing what are basically the root cause of that thing, and move forward of how we can, try to manage or solve this kind of issues. Often, I just actually finished reading a book, this Mendepani Zaman. I'm going to interview this guy next 2 weeks. Basically, SINGH Nazmi. He's basically MP of Setiawangsa. He's my 10 years junior in school. So in the next series, I'm gonna interview many people like them. I mean, it's all these politicians. I call it up close and personal, some inspiring people. So basically, his book is about, Mendepani Zaman is basically talking about the politik perkauman yang has been played by UMNO, by Barisan Nasional, even past to the extreme agama, religion, and got Chinese DAP. The picture are trying to pull everyone together in that centrist kind of thing. I mean, it's getting round. So, I mean, it's trying to challenge the Malay people, to have a bit more open mind. I mean, of course, the gist. Everything that I can summarize from what he says is basically the biggest problem, of course, the Malay. I mean, like Joel said, is played by the politician coming election. You're gonna lose that, you lose that, and the support. But I mean, the Malay, especially Malay like me, they call it the middle income, whatever.
Moderate.
Middle income. I mean, those probably from the EB, they have created many Malay like us, like him, berjaya hantar sana. Moderate, but I think people like us should stop. Where we should, whatever the government system is supposed to be on need based rather than race based. I mean, they try to fight on that. I mean, try to challenge the Malay.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it goes to. I mean, it's more. Yeah, it's more human. It's more Islamic, in that sense. I'm coming from the Islamic point of view. When you don't call it, you bring justice, but this one, this is mulligan. I want to be exemption on this thing. You cannot. Justice, even in Islam, even against your enemy. You don't like Israel. If there's anything that you have to be fair, you be fair to even your enemy. So that is the teaching in Islam. So. And I shared even my Palestine talk last time. I try to challenge them. You have to be fair first to people around you. Only then other people can be fair to you. You don't expect the world to be fair to you. What you can do is your own self.
Yeah.
You think that you have done enough to be fair? Sometimes you need other people to help you. So this is the time. That's why I always do this. This is a reflection show. Sometimes you need to stop. See, are we doing this thing? So I'm challenging them, and of course with them is basically some of past member. Of course, my friend. I said, I try to remember one verse. There is chapter 61 verses 3. We're talking about fairness, whatnot. It's very short surah. Of course, in Arabic, say basically, I try to remember that. God 8 people who don't walk their talk. I try to remember in Arabic, kabura maktan, in Allah antakulu ma la taf'alun. basically, when I see the translation, not God hate, no, it's most loathsome in the sights of God. I mean, it's so grievous, no. When you say something, but you don't practice that, no.
Yeah.
You got one justice, and the other one that God really, one single thing that God betul-betul marah, you know, when you say something but you don't preach, when you don't do that thing. So like you strike me, come on, man, this is it. So Muslim, even one single verse, you not, you're supposed to follow to the letter because you play that's verbatim word of God. So I'm trying to challenge them. Hello, take a step back, see what are you guys doing. Then I think if we put our own self, what we can manage, I think other thing will automatically fall into places. I mean, this is what, when I do this thing, I want people to be able to reflect, stop and reflect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boon, stereotyping, I feel, I mean, in class, the thing is, when you're an educator, whether you're in school or college or university, it's not merely academics. It's not only academic matter that you're teaching. Rather, it's also the values that we try to inculcate in this next generation of Malaysians or generation or global people of the world, lah. You know. So when we speak about stereotyping, I like to always remind my students, as human beings, that's one of our greatest fallacy. We will stereotype. It is inherent in us to pick out differences. We do stereotype. It comes with being human, you see. But what I told them is very simple. You are going to be prone to stereotype, but with exposure, with acceptance, with understanding, you will know how to catch yourself before you continue to stereotype. You see, the trick here is to stop yourself from going on with that thought that you've had in your mind. You cannot, no one in the world will be able to say, I do not stereotype at all. That's the biggest bull ever. We all stereotype. I stereotype on a daily basis. We all stereotype on a daily basis. We do it all. That's part and parcel of being humans. We are trained to pick out differences, you see. But then the beauty is how you stop yourself consciously from continuing that train of thought. You know, how you stop yourself. And I tell myself a lot of times per day, sometimes, especially when I'm out, and I stop myself, I'm like, no, this is not what it is. You know, stop there. And then you over time, you know that you are able to consciously reduce the level of stereotyping that you do on a daily basis. To make it 100% zero, it's near impossible. We do it on a daily basis. It's all about being consciously able to reduce it as much as possible.
All right. Thank you. Yes, Pat, you wanna add, Eddie?
Well, I think interaction is very important. Like, for example, I'm interacting with all of you, and then you are my friends already. I talk to you. I mean, Cheryl, you don't consistently. I don't consistently look at Cheryl the Malay. Cheryl the Malay. Cheryl is the friend. Okay, Pat. Oh, the Eurasian. Pat the Eurasian. Pat the Eurasian. I don't think that. I mean, after it, especially before I come to this show, I was also reflecting, and then I realized that as I interact with more and more people from different races, okay, from my university's day in the US and coming back here, because that time will be international. You know, it's not only just Americans. I have people from Hong Kong and from Japan and all these other places. And then here, and then I'm dealing with students. I realized that by these interactions, right, and I don't really look at the person as a race anymore. Even though, like, I look at Joe. Okay, Joe. The initiality is that Joe is like that. But I would not think about, oh, Joe is Indian, or he has to be this, he has to be that. I don't think about that way, you know. It becomes very natural. So I think interactions is very, very important. If our school system were to be able to do that, I think we will reduce a lot of stereotyping. But of course, Joe is right that we cannot stop like 100% completely no stereotyping. So if it's, for example, in a very, very funny way lah. For example, okay, Pat. Okay, one day I go to visit Pat and she was eating salted fish. I say, yeah, it's the Europe what whatever type your type, because you all like to eat salted fish. Okay, like that Eurasian thing. Okay, because there is this stereotype that Eurasians like to eat salted fish, the kind of thing. It will come to me, but it's good that I will just say, oh yeah, that is a stereotype. Okay, and stop instead of continuously thinking about that. It's like Malays like cats. So when you see a stray cat, you bring it and give it to a Malay.
Yeah, but yeah, I think what people want to, even like adult Christian is basically you just need to bump, you need to see other people, talk to them, only then you can appreciate
things. Yes.
So that's the thing. I've mentioned it to Pat, I think last 2 years during the building bridges. I know of course this issue is a bit sensitive, but what I want is basically of course it's very deep and sensitive subject. Is basically when I mentioned last 2 weeks, putting everyone in one school. Probably after that, you have petang sekolah vernacular ke apa tu tak kisah. But there must be daripada kecil. We put
education system.
One stream education system. It's not what you learn. I've always told my children, you go and enjoy. Like I did. I go to school, I just want to enjoy, I want to play. But during that play, you see people, what they eat, or you're in a team, stuff like that from school. So when something happened, hey, my friend in school, it's nice. You cannot say, So that, I mean, of course, I said I truly met a Chinese when I was at work, and I'm really kind of close when I was in UK, when I was working in a Royal Mail in a sorting. That one, of course, we get a bit more intimate during that 3 hours in the morning of sorting letters, So what do you want in life? What they want. So basically, it's very like me, They just want to have house, and what important for them is basically just they can, put their children to school, and stuff like that, I think that's very fair demand. Everyone should have that, I've never had that kind of discussion with the Chinese, So that's why I think we should. That's why coming back from UK, even though I didn't do my PhD, basically my PhD is in PhD kehidupan. My wife did a PhD in philosophy. So I met people. I met many Chinese, Malaysian, stuff like that. So we see, in a neutral ground, how we behave. Yeah, that's me. Even this morning, I bumped into ASO. I got many ASO fans who always took care of stray dogs. And one dog that he took care of, always different dog. And this time is a blind dog. He took care. Took the poo and said, wow. Of course, yeah. So this is very nice, ASO lady. So, I don't know how I could, So I wish I could be. Of course, we were quite good in that neighborhood. Yeah, over to you. So I think we need more interaction in that sense now.
I mean, I'm the greatest proponent of single stream schools. And that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to research about when I started my PhD, and I felt that I don't see. I don't know that, because it's actually very difficult, because we have the Chinese who have to be very, very fair to them. They have, through sweat and tears, established their own independent schools when they had no other avenues before World War II, and when the British were around. They took the initiative. They brought in the teachers, they brought in the curriculum, and they basically funded the entire thing. And that is why you have independent Chinese schools, you see. So for them, it is something very historical, But then I think that in the context of Malaysia, it starts from school. It starts when the child is is impressionable. It starts when the child starts going out and you know, in the formative years of studying. I am a big proponent of single stream schools, and I look at it very simplistically. Again, I accept that there are probably a lot of other concerns lah, but for me, from a very simplistic point of view, I feel that the medium of instructions should be Bahasa Melayu. That's our national language. One language spoken by everyone, regardless of background, race, and all that. Yeah, that is the main medium of instruction. However, there is also a need to have compulsory second language classes. And this second language class, because I know those who go to what they call it, private schools and also international schools. They have to take a second language. You know, they must. It's not an option. You must. So you choose which you want. So maybe in our government schools, we could have 3 or 4 languages. We could have, for example, Mandarin. We could have Tamil. We could have Arabic. We could have another one. And kids will then need to choose one of this as a main requirement while they are in school. You see, so language then doesn't become something that is separate from the education perspective. It is there. So you will have most Indian students who would naturally maybe choose Tamil, but you might have some who might be very well versed in Tamil. They might choose Mandarin, or some Malays who might also choose Mandarin, or some Malays that might choose Tamil for that matter. You might have some Indians who don't want to do Tamil. They might choose Arabic for that matter. So I think that this integrates all the races in the best way possible, and it only starts with a single stream. I think that's how we should go moving forward.
True.
Having different streams complicates matters. You know, as what as you want to say lah. Some people will say Chinese schools now. The favorite argument is more and more non-Chinese are going to Chinese schools. But that, and I know this is an argument that Eddie has always brought up on his Facebook page. but again, the thing is here is we're not talking about quality. We're talking about structure. Yeah, the structure of how the plan is, how it's supposed to be, and then we focus on quality. I feel that is my perspective lah.
The sad thing is that our education system is politicized.